The Maury handshake.
That's it.
You are so funny. He's so funny. Last week he was playing a policeman, and this week he's playing a lawyer.
He knows all the moves, and he got my queen.
He got your
He
queen.
jumped on my queen.
I have one more day to 2 years.
One more day till 2 years. I'm not sure about that, but okay.
Okay, so remember you got to move this guy back because you're putting him in death row.
Wait.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, look who's here. In the house. All right.
Wait a minute, why is your... I got an answer that might not be the answer to your question.
Okay. What is the most
I got a bunch of answers. You got a bunch of questions.
I do.
What?
Like, what is the craziest thing you have dealt with in your
The
life?
craziest thing I've dealt with? One day when I was first past the bar and I was out in Virginia Beach and I had a chance to help this man who was buying a house with his wife, but he did not have a real estate contract. You always have to have something in writing to buy a house. Just remember that. You cannot buy real estate without something in writing. So this man did not have a contract. He was buying a house over near Military Circle. You know where the big church is, Calvary Church?
Yeah.
Frizzell Street, back there. And he came in and he was an African-American gentleman about 40 or 50 years old. And he had a whole bundle of little blue receipts that looked like something you'd get at a lunch counter. And it said, it did say house payment. Each little receipt said house payment. That's all he had to prove that he was buying the house and not renting the house from the guy who owned it, okay? So he came in to talk to me because the gentleman that he worked with, the old man that he worked for, was in charge of this whole office complex where we had our office, okay? And the old gentleman wanted us to be sure to help this man with his house situation because he knew it was not good that he didn't have a contract and he did not have a deed for the house either. Okay? So the gentleman came in and I looked at all these receipts and I got in touch with the man that owned the property, and the man fortunately was an honest person. He said, yes, Mr. So-and-so and his wife are buying the house from us. And I never gave him a contract, but that's true. So, and he was going to get a deed in his name, and they're going to put a mortgage in the court records and all that sort of thing. So they came in, everything was lined up. They came in, and the man came in, and here's what he did. He came in, and I asked him to sign his name, and he went.
Say it.
He was illiterate. He couldn't read or write. And his wife, she was the person in the family that did all the work. He was illiterate. So he made his mark. That's good. If I identify him, he shows me identification, and he signs his name like that, that's good enough. He made it. It's called making your mark. So they teach you that in law school, but I never thought I'd see a case like that. And in my first year, I saw one like it. Okay. So he got his house, and his wife got the house. So about 15 or 20 years later, I was in a restaurant where we used to sing, my bass player buddy. I was in a restaurant with him at a break, in the music, you know, and he was sitting there, and his wife had come with their children and was listening to us. And something reminded me of that thing. Maybe it was a question like you asked, but something reminded me of that. And I told that story. And you know what his wife said? What was the number on Frizzell Street? And I said, oh, I can't remember the exact number. It was such as, and I described it. Then I described the people. You know what she said? Those are my grandparents. I grew up in that house.
Wow.
That's a true story. Isn't that cool? He's one of my best friends. And that's where his wife grew up. She was raised by her grandparents. And she went to Hampton University. She got a degree. She's a teacher. She's a retired teacher. They have 3 children. One of them is an electronic engineer, another one's a teacher, another one, I don't know, they all have college degrees, they're doing great. But isn't that a cool story? That was complete coincidence. So I would never forget
People
that.
call me, saying I need a lawyer, and y'all have to tell them how much, you need to give us for an hour. Do y'all make, like, could you, for example, say, you have to give me $100 an hour, can you just say a number?
Yeah, you can, but you want to be fair. You want to charge a fair amount for your time.
What about jail? Have you've been in the courtroom, right? Have you ever been someone that you know, like when he told you story, you knew he was gonna be guilty from the jump?
Here's the deal. Nobody is guilty
Nobody.
unless and until the state can prove their guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Everybody starts out without being found guilty until they have a fair trial. Or at least, I'll give you a card since you're interested in law. If you want to come over after work, after school sometime while I'm still at work, my assistant is there till 4, and so we'd be answering the phone until then, and we'll show you some law books and answer some more questions. Okay? What's your name?
Deja.
Deja? Okay. Nice to meet you.
But
Wait a minute.
I don't think you can get the best out of nobody.
Perfect.